Picture a fairy. You probably imagine something small and delicate with butterfly wings and a vaguely human shape. Now forget that, because biologically, that creature wouldn't survive. As a biologist, I can tell you that almost nothing about that image makes sense. And the real version, the version that would actually exist, is far weirder and far more interesting. Hi, my name is Sofia and I'm a biologist. This video is part of Monster Week, an annual TTRPG creator event created and organized by Ginny D and Pointy Hat. This year's theme is Fae. The Fae is a vast theme. There are lots of creatures we could talk about. But today, I want to focus on fairies, because they are the most iconic and honestly, the most biologically fascinating. But comment below if you want a video on dryads, because I also have a few things to say about them. Part 1. Fast life cycle. Imagine you're a fairy trying to get by in the Feywild. Life would be very hard. You would be in constant fear of being preyed upon by some monster and eaten. This ecology would require you to have offspring as soon as possible, to make sure your family line doesn't go extinct in your generation. This means that fairies must grow fast, reach sexual maturity early, and have a lot of offspring. This is what we biologists call a fast life strategy. Examples of fast life strategists are insects, mice, or weeds, and all of them share similar traits: small bodies, short lifespan, many offspring, and no parental care. This means that fairies can't be small elves or humans with wings. If they were, they would simply not be able to survive. For the genes to be passed to the next generation, fairies would need to reproduce fast and evade their predators. And that's where things get even more interesting. Part 2. Camouflage and behavior. All of these characteristics would also require fairies to evade their predators by creating different strategies. The easiest way would be camouflage. Fairies would need to have colors similar to their environments to reduce the probability of being seen. Or, at least, they would have to create their own camouflage, either by their clothes or through magic, casting spells that would make them invisible to their predators while they are near. Still, using magic would probably require too much energy from them, energy they can't afford to waste. This constant fear of being preyed upon would also make fairies nocturnal creatures, hiding under the cover of darkness when their predators are less active and can see them. However, they have an advantage. They are able to produce armor and weapons. This, added to the fact that they are small, would force the fairies to hunt in ambushes, in groups, to overpower their prey. Think of army ants. Small, individually vulnerable, but collectively terrifying. And on the topic of diet, fairies would probably eat small arthropods, fruits, and flower nectar. These are foods that are easy to find and can provide a lot of energy. Part 3. Social structure. But camouflage and fast reproduction alone wouldn't be enough. When you are small and constantly hunted, there is another strategy that nature keeps coming back to: living together. Look at honeybees, or ants, or termites. They are small, they are heavily preyed upon, and they solve that problem by becoming incredibly organized. And I think fairies would do the same. In a biologically accurate Feywild, fairy cities wouldn't be charming little villages. They would be highly specialized societies, where every individual has a role. Some would be scouts, detecting predators early. Others would be soldiers, using those weapons and armor we talked about. Others would be responsible for reproduction, making sure that population recovers quickly after an attack. This also means hierarchy wouldn't just be a social choice, it would be a survival necessity. A rigid structure where everyone knows their role is simply more efficient when your entire colony can be wiped out in minutes. And here's where it gets interesting. This kind of society would also explain something from Dungeons & Dragons lore. The idea that fairies are deeply tied to bargains and social contracts. If your survival depends on everyone doing their part, breaking the rules isn't just rude, it's dangerous. Cooperation isn't kindness, it's survival. When betraying the group costs you more than it gains you, cooperation becomes the only rational strategy. And for a fairy whose survival depends entirely on her colony, that cost would be everything. Part 4. Creating a biologically accurate fairy. So, what would a biologically accurate fairy look like? First, we need to make a big decision. Are fairies mammals or insects? If you want to create fairies that look like D&D ones, the best choice would be mammals. They do look humanoid, which means that somewhere, somehow, fairies and elves had babies. So the mammal classification makes more sense. This choice would mean they may have more than 2 mammary glands to feed their vast number of offspring. And also, their wings would be like bat wings, which would mean that their wings are actually modified hands, and they would not have human-looking arms. On the other hand, we can consider fairies as insects. This would create weirder-looking fairies with chitinous exoskeletons and insect wings. Not butterfly wings, because those simply cannot support their weight or allow them to fly. Since fairies need to be nocturnal, this would require them to have big eyes and be adapted to low light. Personally, I think the insect version is much more interesting. But no matter what choice you make, these fairies look way more interesting than the ones that we are used to seeing. They are weird and unique, and make total sense for the environment where they live. Now that you know what a biologically accurate fairy would look like, how does it change the way you use them in your world? You don't have to throw away everything. You don't need to give your fairies chitinous exoskeletons if that doesn't fit your world. But maybe they camouflage better than you thought. Maybe their cities are more organized, more ruthless, more survival-driven than the charming villages we usually see. So next time you picture a fairy, maybe don't make it human or elvish. If you want to go deeper into building worlds that actually make sense, check out my last video. And if you want a video on dryads, because I think that they are the perfect contrast to fairies, let me know in the comments. Now, go create!